right, so you've probably seen these all over your social media feeds. There's this new trend that honestly sounds a little bit like magic. We are talking about tan through swimwear. But the big question is it this amazing summer game changer, or is it a trap? Let's get into it.
I mean, just picture it for a second. You spend a whole day out in the sun, you get this beautiful, even, all-over tan. And zero pesky tan lines. That's the dream, right? That's the promise that has everyone buzzing. But how? And when I say everyone, I'm not exaggerating. Just on TikTok, the hashtag for tan through swimwear has blown past 47 million views. So this isn't some tiny niche product. Nope, this is a full-on viral sensation.
So let's start with the why. What's the big deal? What is driving this massive trend?
Well, it's actually pretty simple. The main selling point is hiding in plain sight. These swimsuits claim you can get a totally even tan right through the fabric itself. Think about it. No more awkwardly adjusting your straps or risking a weird burn just to avoid tan lines. It's all about convenience and, let's be honest, cosmetic perfection.
Okay, but that brings us to the big, obvious question. How is that even possible? It sounds like it defies physics, right? So let's actually dig into the science of the suit.
The secret, it turns out, is all in the fabric. It's a special material that's been engineered with thousands, and I mean thousands, of microscopic holes. They call them micropores. And these little openings are just small enough that the suit isn't see-through, but they're big enough to let the sun's UV rays come right on through to your skin.
Now, I know what you're thinking. The first question everybody asks is, are they see-through? And the answer, surprisingly, is no. To the naked eye, especially with all the busy patterns they use, the suits look totally opaque. But functionally, that fabric is incredibly porous. It's kind of like a really, really fine mesh screen.
And this is where the whole story kind of takes a sharp turn. Because that porous fabric, it lets about 80% of the sun's UV rays right through to your skin. 80%. That number is everything. It's how you get the tan, sure, but it's also exactly where the risk starts. You can probably guess that a number like 80% has set off some major alarm bells for skin health experts. So it's time to check in on the dermatologist warning and hear what they have to say. Yeah, this quote from a board-certified dermatologist, Dr. Marissa Garshik, pretty much says it all. Because the suit is literally designed to let the sun in, it leaves all the skin underneath completely vulnerable. It's easy to forget that the skin under your swimsuit is getting blasted with just as much sun as your exposed arms and legs.
And to really get the difference here, we have to talk about something called UPF, or ultraviolet protection factor. It basically measures how well a fabric blocks UV rays. So look at this. A regular dry white t-shirt has a UPF of about 7, but get it wet, it drops to a 3. Now compare that to actual sun protective clothing, which has a UPF of 50 plus. That blocks like 98% of radiation. The difference is just huge.
Now, to be fair, some of these tan-through brands will claim their suits have an SPF of, say, 8 to 15. But remember that what t-shirt we just talked about? The exact same thing applies here. Whatever tiny bit of protection that fabric might offer is probably going to drop like a rock the second you jump in the pool. And all of this leads us to a really fundamental truth about tanning that honestly, a lot of us just don't want to hear. So, here's the bottom line, and this comes straight from the American Association of Dermatology. There is no such thing as a healthy tan. A tan is your skin's injury response. It's a defense mechanism that kicks into gear because UV radiation has literally damaged the DNA in your skin cells. So the very thing these suits are designed to give you is, by definition, skin damage. And that damage has some pretty serious long-term consequences. We're talking about a higher risk for skin cancer, which is already the most common cancer in the US. And even setting that aside, UV exposure is the #1 cause of what they call accelerated skin aging. You know, more fine lines, more wrinkles, and getting them sooner. Okay, so if after hearing all that, you're still determined to try one of these suits, what can you do? Look, this isn't about scolding anyone, it's just about being smart. So let's build your sun-safe strategy. Every single dermatologist agrees on this. You have to treat the skin under the suit just like your exposed skin. That means getting a broad-spectrum sunscreen, at least SPF 30, and applying it to your entire body before you even put the suit on. And then you have to reapply it every 2 hours or right after you get out of the water. No cheating, no exceptions.
So it all brings us back to that one central question. Now that you've seen the science and you've heard the warnings from the experts, you really have to ask yourself, is the goal of having a perfectly even tan actually worth the proven risk of sun damage? That's definitely something to think about next time this trend pops up on your feed.